Welcome to Module 2. You are here taking this class because deep down you have always known that something's off in this world. Something doesn't feel quite right about being here, about the way people relate to one another, maybe even about the stories we're told about who we are. Something doesn't add up. Maybe you didn't even consciously know it or have words to describe it, but you felt that dissonance. As a kid, maybe you are the one who asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. Maybe you felt too sensitive or too intense or too much or not enough. But here's what I want to say to you very clearly. That wasn't brokenness. That was brilliance. The part of you that didn't fit in, that was your soul staying online. You cannot come into a place with this kind of density and this kind of distortion carrying your frequency and fit in. You were meant to feel out of place, but you were brave enough to come anyway, and to come now, to anchor in the codes needed to midwife in the new earth. Just by being who you are, just by being you, and holding the frequency of light and remembrance. And let me tell you, that is special. You know why it's lonely? Because not everybody is here to awaken. In fact, it is less than a quarter of the population came to remember who they are in this way. We all forget in some way, but we have left ourselves a little trail of remembrance back to ourselves. You've probably noticed that trail that you left in moments that something stirred deep within. A song moves you to tears or gives you full body chills. A place that feels like home or heaven. A dream that you couldn't shake. A truth that you felt in your bones, even if there wasn't a soul around you who could validate it. That's what I call the spark. It's this little flicker of truth that never went out. It's quiet sometimes, but it's always there. And those little moments are when the pilot light's being pressed, asking you to ignite. And it's always there. It's quiet sometimes, but it's always there. And it's in those little moments when the pilot light is being pushed. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready to ignite. The tricky part is that the world teaches you to mistrust that spark. We're trained to look outside of ourselves for answers, for approval, for permission. We're trained to only trust data that has citations instead of that inner knowing. But the deeper truth is this. You've always had the compass. You chose this mission because you knew you had the tool to find your way home. You may have just not been ready to use it. And part of what you're doing here, part of what you're doing right now, is learning to hear yourself again. Not your conditioned voice, the one that second guesses and plays it safe, but the deeper voice. The one that speaks in knowing. You're not learning how to be spiritual. You're learning how to trust what you've always known. Each of us, the awakening souls, have an awakening course and even course corrections built into this incarnation. Every loop we can get stuck in, no matter how long, has a rupture point. And when it cracks, you'll feel it. That's the invitation disguised as discomfort. For some, it's illness. For others, it's existential crisis. And for many of us, it may have been this unbearable feeling that this can't be all there is. That this pattern of wash, rinse, repeat. This mundane pattern life cycle can't be it. So let me confirm, you did not miss the path. That yearning was built in for you to find it. You refused to stay asleep. Even when the world was chanting, "This is normal. This is what we do." Your heart kept whispering, "But I remember something more." So good news, you don't have to figure it all out right now. Your being is enough. Your taking a step on the path is enough. Right now, this is about honoring the spark and letting it grow. Our added layer of challenge here right now, the extra hurdle that we have on the track, is the noise that we have in our lives. The 24-hour news cycle, the 100 million ways to stream content, the social media, the phone addiction. It puts us in a constant state of consuming, and we are here to be creators. It takes us away from sinking into the stillness and the silence that is required to hear that voice. So please consider silence as your hands cupping the flame, protecting that little light as it grows. Honor that light with at least 15 minutes of stillness or silence. Whether you're able to find time to just sit in quiet with yourself, or you just drive with no radio and no background noise. Allow that inner voice to know that you are listening. In the next module, we are going to talk about something that I feel very strongly about. Why you never really fit in, and why that is your superpower. But for now, maybe take a few minutes to reflect on, when have I felt that spark most clearly? What part of me has always known something deeper is true? Those aren't just memories. That's your map. See you in the next module.